I'm actually really surprised no one else is here. Like,
how the other
we have the best project,
I
right? So
that
we're
is
actually
clear,
obviously-
clear. Oh, I don't know, probably between like most of them 3 and 10 other people.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it is. In previous years, I've kind of stacked them up so that they're all one after another. This year, I
Yeah.
kind of put more options and just kind of spread out
Yeah.
a little bit. So I was gonna go have everyone reschedule, but I was like, nah.
We appreciate the flexibility.
Let me just check my YouTube stream here. Make sure we're going. Bam, bam, bam. Y'all ready to be done? Okay. Does look like we are live. So, I say let's just go ahead and do this. Hopefully, others will join us. But so you have one watching you right now online. So,
All right.
Oh, awesome.
actually, it could be.
All right.
That's a good point.
Thank you all for being here.
That's right.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll
Rock
start.
on.
I don't know if you heard my joke, but I said thank you all for being here. Yeah, our project is IS 115, Intro to Python Data Analytics. My name is Mark McKinney. This is my associate, Sam Roberts, and my other associate, Joseph Potter. We are Team A. Yeah, so the problem that we are, that we set out to solve is basically a general misunderstanding about information.
Hold on, start all over.
All right, let's do that. So yeah, basically we've noticed that, including this project and several others this semester, one thing that the students have been working to clarify is kind of what information systems really is and what it's all about. And so several problems that we've noticed kind of relating to this is that students will identify information systems with the one required IS course that their major made them take, which is IS 110, the spreadsheet skills and business analysis class. And so with that class, it's a great skill to have, but many students kind of miss out on the opportunity with just that class alone to experience deeper programming skills and analytical tools that they really should have the potential to use early on. And so we also have noticed that without being able to experience those tools, they may not realize that they're passionate about information systems until it's too late to pivot. So the solution that we have for that problem is partnering with our associate, Dr. Keith, to create the IS 115 Intro to Python Data Analytics class. And basically there are 3 focuses that we wanted to achieve for this class. Basically giving students an understanding of the basics of Python, the basics of data analytics, and to be able to promote awareness for information systems. And the learning objectives that we have for this is basically to help students understand those basics of programming. And Python is a very good first language to learn because of kind of how easy it is to use. And so we want them to be able to learn how to use variables, understand flow control, loops, and functions, and then also to be able to understand data analytics, including some of the underlying principles of statistics that it's built upon. And so we also want them to be able to perform those data analytics fundamentals using Python, and then overall we believe that that will help them have a good understanding of information systems as a major.
So our deliverables for this project, pretty straightforward. Essentially we're delivering our course, right? Which involves writing a textbook, doing assignments. We included video assignments, or video tutorials with those assignments, which we'll show here in a bit, that include kind of before and after. So One with us walking through kind of a similar problem for a homework assignment, and then afterwards a video that goes through the homework assignment with the students. We're also providing exams to cover all the topics that we're covering in the course, and then just kind of the polishing things, right? The learning objectives, the glossary terms, and recommended schedule. So the technologies that we chose, you'll see up here. So primarily we're using MyEducator to store all of our information for the course. We found it's a really good tool, easy to modify, very accessible here at BYU. Additionally, we're using Anaconda, which is a distribution that really is great for first-time users. It includes a lot of the packages that we're already using, helps us kind of avoid some of the deeper topics in Python, kind of avoid the command line. Again, we're trying to make it as user-friendly as possible, right? The idea is that freshmen with zero programming experience can come in and feel comfortable in an environment learning about these programming principles. So to focus on that, we're trying to eliminate as many obstacles as possible. We felt like Anaconda was a good tool for that. And in that same vein, we also included Jupyter Notebooks, which is a way to just run Python in kind of different cells, lets you go back and kind of modify different parts of your code very easily. And we'll see all of that in some of the videos we're going to show. Additionally, we're touching on Python. This is just a sampling of some of the packages that we touch on in the course. So throughout the course, as we've been working on it, we had a kind of rough outline of the different chapters, the things we wanted to cover, which you'll see over here, covering basic Python functions pretty much up until packages is just very basic Python. This is how things work. And then into more of the analytical application, reading and writing from files, doing manipulation, visualization, and touching a little bit on the machine learning and statistics. Over here, after working with Dr. Keith and thinking through really who our customers are, right? These students are going to be taking this course. We felt like we were able to better focus our chapters and the content we were covering, and additionally change some of the way that we're approaching some of these topics. So we added a little bit about a course introduction and setup that touches on really, it's an introduction to information systems as a field. Obviously Python data analytics isn't all of information systems, but it is a part of it. And so helping students understand that it's not just spreadsheets, it's also not just Python, but it is a part of information systems. We made significant changes to some of the chapters you'll see here, our loops, lists, and dictionaries, reading and writing data from files, data preparation. And we added a few different chapters on data visualization and an advanced data visualization section to go a little bit deeper into some of those topics. So we also included, as I mentioned, 3 exams. This is kind of the general breakdown. The Python basics, again, covers up through functions. The basic stats and data preparation goes over very basic statistical things, the foundation that we build on for the course, some of that data prep, and then lastly just the visualization of the course, both the advanced and basic.
I know I should know this by now, but is this 1.5 credits or is it 3 credits?
3 credits, I believe is the plan. Dr. Keith can correct us if it's...
I'm going to try to adjust the lighting.
Okay.
Everything's just kind of washed out. Well, now it won't be. And, which one of these was the front? Let me try this. I've got some controls up.
Okay, yeah, so now we're just gonna kind of go through the textbook at MyEducator that we've written. So as you can see here, we've got all of these chapters that Sam was talking about that we have written out. And we're gonna take a deep dive into chapter 2, which is our first chapter that actually contains the content for the course. Just to give you guys an idea of the structure of the textbook as well as some of the features that we've added into it. So we've got here our variables, and you can see that we've started putting in glossary terms, so you can hover over one of those and see what that term means. We also talk about data types, string, integer, float, and boolean, doing math on integers and floats, so you're just basic mathematical operations. Then we talk about casting of data types. Then we have the chapter summary, and then we have the assignment. So this assignment is very simple. It just has them create 4 variables. The first one is your radius, which they hard code to a value of 2. The second one is pi, which they hard code to a value of 3.14. And they calculate the area and print out a message basically telling you what the area is. So they can submit that in a Jupyter Notebook file here. And now we can go look over here. This is the rubric for that assignment so that the TAs for the course can use to grade it. It just has everything that they're supposed to do and then an associated number of points for each one. And then we're going to watch just a portion of this video to give you guys kind of an idea of how the videos are structured.
Tomorrow, I'm gonna walk you through the solution for
Hey, you just said
first
that.
assignment of variables and data types. So for this assignment, basically you're supposed to create a program that calculates the area of a circle, and we're gonna do that by creating variables for the radius, area, and message. So first, what we're gonna do is just create a variable called radius. This is radius equals 2. Then we're gonna create a variable for pi.
So you guys kind of get the idea of
Pi, so
how those videos are structured. We just
So
walk them
these-
through the solution.
Okay, so these are post.
Yeah. So we do one
Solution.
that's before. So that's this other video here is before they do the assignment that they can look at. That's a very similar solution that we're walking through, and then they'll be able to. Yeah. And then they'll afterwards they can look at the solution to the actual assignment that they did, in case they still had any doubts on that. And then going back to the My Educator textbook, we're just gonna take a look in each of these chapters just to get a quick view of the concepts that we're teaching within each of them. Just really quickly. So within the input, it's pretty straightforward, just input and output and then our chapter summary. Then flow control. We may want to move this Boolean logic to its own section, but we cover Boolean logic and then if statements. Here, we're doing, just like the title says, lists, loops, and dictionaries. Here we're doing how to declare functions, how to call them, an extra note on like how functions are used in Python, and then we cover Python's built-in functions. Packages, talks about the packages that we're actually going to use for this course as well as what a package is, then shows them how to install packages on Anaconda and import them. So this is kind of our transition into the data analytics focused portion of the course.
That's also where the first exam ends. The first exam taking into account packages and all that stuff, focusing more on the basic Python.
Yep. So then for reading data and writing data, it's just a couple sections, one for reading and one for writing. And then we go into basic statistics, and this is where we start hitting the real meat of what this course is. So we talk about the p-value correlation, R and R squared, mean, median, and mode, univariate and bivariate statistics, t-tests, and regressions. And with each of those, or I think most of those, some of those they're more conceptual, just to understand what they are, but a lot of them as well, we're teaching them how to do that in Python at the same time.
And the regression there is, if I remember right, just really just a line of best fit for a single variable, kind of
Yeah.
bivariate regression, I guess.
Yeah, so this, the regression in this chapter is just giving you back the variables for that. So like, you'll call a function that gets you the M and B for
Okay.
the regression line, and then in the visualization chapters, we actually cover how to show that in a chart.
Okay.
So just a minor point, probably in most stats, you'll introduce mean, median, and mode, like first thing, even before correlation. I don't know if there's a
Yeah.
reason why you have it
Yeah.
later, but.
There's not. It probably
Okay.
Yeah, we can definitely move that.
Rearrange some of that stuff.
So then, data preparation, we cover filtering data, sorting data, dealing with nulls, and then changing the values within rows and columns. And that prepares them for the visualization because they've got to get the data ready to be visualized. So this first visualization chapter is kind of just getting them introduced to the Matplotlib interface. So we teach them how to do bar charts, histograms, scatter plots, and line charts. And then the advanced visualization chapter is where we start to combine the concepts we learned in the statistics chapter with the visualization concepts that we already understand. So it's adding regression lines to scatter plots, creating bar charts, and then taking the t-test to see if there's actually a statistical difference between those two bars in the chart, and then creating three-dimensional scatter plots, and then detecting outliers with box plots. So then we have machine learning, which this chapter the course may not end up covering it, but we're leaving it in here to for the students to explore. And it basically goes over the general concepts of machine learning, then takes a deeper dive into MLR and CART, those two algorithms. And then we talk about other machine learning algorithms, and then additional concepts that you can do in Python. And so then finally, we've got our exams. We still need to finish these out, but our exam 1 is complete. It essentially just has them create an interface where they create records for cars and can call those back and search it. And so this, like we said, this exam will just cover the Python portion of the course. And then for our final, well actually, one more thing in My Educator that we haven't covered.
So all exam 2 and 3, just so Dr. Survey knows.
Oh yeah.
What will go in those ones.
So exam 2 covers data manipulation and statistics, and the third chapter covers the visualization, both the kind of basic and the advanced.
Okay.
Which I think they'll probably include a little bit too, obviously, from some of the other chapters, right? These concepts play with each other pretty heavily, but mostly focus on those chapters.
And the reading and writing is going to focus on CSV files, which is most common task.
Yeah.
And so then I just wanted to show you guys how we're managing the learning objectives. So here we've added learning objectives. We still have to finish out some of these, but by then we'll have created learning objectives for every chapter and then marked where those learning objectives are covered by section. And then this is out of date. It's our suggested course schedule, but since we made changes, we're going to need to update this. But basically, it's going to go through each day of the semester what could potentially be covered, so we can turn that over to Dr. Keith to kind of give him an idea what we were thinking, and then he can adapt that as he needs to. And so these are the texts that we still have left to do before the end of the semester, which is what we were just talking about, the finishing learning objectives as well as the gloss terms. And then we still haven't created an assignment for statistics yet, and we still need to create videos for the statistics and advanced visualization. And then we're just gonna go through the textbook, polish everything up, and write the last 2 exams. And these are future improvements that we have discussed with Dr. Keith, but due to time constraints and having decided on them late in the semester, we aren't planning on actually doing those for the purpose of this project. But in the future, we would like to add a clustering chapter as well as additional video tutorials throughout the text of the book.
Awesome. Is there any questions?
So how many, do you have kind of videos for each chapter or each kind of exercise in each chapter?
Yeah, so each assignment, like we showed, has a pre and post. And this is kind of one of the things we want additional tutorials. We want to cover more videos throughout the chapters, kind of like other courses have it scheduled, just to kind of show. We have a lot of the code written out and explanation, but it's always nice to have a video for people who, are more visual learners and need some help walking through.
Is this a face-to-face class?
Yeah, I've asked them to focus their videos on those assignments because I think in reality when I sit down and actually teach it, I'm probably going to add a whole lot
Different
more
examples.
and then I'll probably want to do my own video tutorials for those. So I would say you've got enough on that previous slide, enough tasks left that I wouldn't worry about the videos other than for those chapter assignments, those 2 that have left.
That's right.
Future proof, that's right. These
That's
are not the ones.
intention.
So I think, that's my guess, is probably just a lot more examples of videos. I think the format and the order, other than that one minor change that Dr. Survey mentioned, I'm happy with, but I'm really curious as to what you think about all this.
So we can have a conversation offline about kind of topic areas and things. I think it's wonderful though. I think there's maybe some chapter rearranging things, the kind of the importing, cleaning data, I'd probably put even earlier before running your stats and other things.
Split the stats and the importing data.
And then, but I think that this course and what you put together is going to have an impact and help people see, oh, I could launch into analytics, or I could launch into, I'm liking this programming thing. I know enough about Python now to kind of take the next steps. So for a 115 class, I'm super excited about it.
What do you think about 3 credits for this content for freshmen?
Maybe. So I'll give kind of my frank reaction.
We won't be offended, please.
It seems a little light to me, but I appreciate that some freshmen are going to be like, oh, this is overwhelming or whatever. As far as kind of like, the concepts are basic concepts, and it needs to be a 100 level class.
Right.
But I think go even a little bit deeper.
The content on the topics they have, clearly I'm going to have to add a lot more examples to. But in terms of those topics.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think, you
wouldn't add something more to that, or?
Well, maybe some, my guess is that the students, after going through this class, will be like, okay, I just did it in Excel and it was super easy.
Mhm.
Now I did it over here and it was a little bit more complicated. I had to follow the steps, and so, you know, if we can add some more kind of something above and beyond, and there are elements that are there, but I think a lot of that focuses on like getting a little bit deeper in the stats, and so, you know, at least for the analytics portion, that's kind of my gut reaction. That
Deeper into the stats, the problem is, can I get into a multiple regression with freshmen who haven't had stats 121?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not all of them, but like I know my son did AP Stats in high school, and it was basically the same thing as 121. And
Mhm.
I think if you're just executing the algorithm, and you know, not having to dive deep into, you know, okay, here's all the considerations and things, and then I think so. And certainly if you're not like, if you don't dive too deep and okay, this is y hat here and
Yeah.
this and that, you know, but if you're like, hey, we run these things and look, you know, conceptually we're just measuring against this line and finding the best fit. Okay, now we add a few more variables, and now, okay, conceptually it's doing the same thing. I definitely think they can handle that.
So if we were to do that, I would probably do like 2 weeks of MLR
Yeah.
with freshmen to really get through all that. Do you think that putting that cap on the end and getting to an actual prediction,
I think it would be awesome.
that's
I mean,
that's the right amount, or still more?
I think so. I think even, you know, there's so many great libraries in Python, for like image analysis and stuff. Just kind of whetting their appetite to the possibility in each of these areas. I think that, you know, that's the objective. Even if they don't really understand, they're not going to be, you know, computer vision experts. But you know, if they say, oh look, I can do face detection, you know, here, or I can grab something off of it, that then it's like they start thinking, oh, here's all these other things I could do, kind of liking this.
Yeah.
So I probably would need to go through the programming portion, but I do love the coupling of, you know, Python with the analytics.
Right.
And I think more people will realize the opportunities in IS as a result, for sure.
So that was kind of one of the things that we talked about, I think, pretty much all semesters, how deep to go, how difficult to make it. We did err a little bit more on the side of making it easier to, again, to attract freshmen. They understand coming in that we're going to be doing programming. Some of it's kind of intimidating, right? And IS kind of has a reputation of a little more friendly than maybe in other 100 level
Bingo!
courses. So making the course, I think, as friendly as possible. There's definitely room to go deeper, and there's some merit to that, I think, definitely. That just to perspective. That's why we went kind of as deep as we did.
No, I think you've done a great job. This is more kind of a
Sure.
course discussion and kind of what's the right level and things.
Some recommendations I have as far as diving deeper into the concepts is, I think there should be realistic expectations about what the students will be able to do themselves by the end of the semester.
Absolutely.
But I think if we keep it, you know, relatively easy at first, as far as the assignments and maybe the exams, I think they may, you know, grow in confidence and think, oh, wow, I have, like, you know, the ability to do all this stuff in Python.
Yeah.
I think we could show them, you know, deeper concepts, maybe by having guest speakers in the class, like data scientists or something like that, or doing in-class examples like Dr. Keith, on some data sets where you do more complex operations.
Giving them a taste.
I think the clustering, and actually if we do image recognition, and rather than predicting what the image is, at least just grouping and clustering images of similar types, I think that's something they could get. Even with 415 students, just getting to a multiple regression, that they struggle with that as juniors and seniors. And so I worry about.
And a lot of that's in Excel, right? Too, if I remember correctly. So we did it. You're adding a whole other layer on with Python, probably with that, and it is a little more. You have a lot more control over it, but does make things that might be simpler in Excel a lot more difficult in Python. Simple things.
That was my worry at first when I told them, put the chapter in, let's see if we can get there. But I actually like the idea of, before we get to that, you know, unsupervised clustering and image grouping, image clustering, maybe not quite classification yet.
Or simple like feature extraction, and I mean, all using existing libraries, like, you know, for instance, or maybe even like some text recognition or something where they can say, oh, I'm using my Python to do this cool task. I really don't understand the
Yes.
algorithms,
That's a good
but
idea.
then I
I
can
do like
take
that.
that and maybe use it for prediction of some sort. Look at the distance between the eyes,
Yes.
or something, so they're like, oh yeah. I do think there's not a lot of advancements in statistical knowledge between the freshman year and probably juniors and seniors. So my guess is, and I could be wrong on this, but my guess is that you're working with raw intelligence when you're teaching it with juniors and seniors, and probably working that raw intelligence rather than foundation. So some have had 121.
Actually, almost all.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Caroline has
Yeah.
pushed them out to where
That's
the
good.
juniors right now, I think I
Okay.
have 2 students who haven't taken 121.
Oh, that'll make a big difference. For
But
sure.
I really do like the idea of, but see, so there's the trade-off. We get into feature hashing with text, clustering, image, grouping, then it's like we're still not quite at the payoff without the actual prediction and the label.
Yeah.
And that
But-
might,
But I think that's okay too. Like, I mean, you could probably do something with tweet analysis with some text extraction and
Yeah.
basic part of speech tagging or something,
I
where it could be still descriptive, but it's like, oh look, these words are a little bit more positive, and it's like, okay, this is kind of a rough sentiment analysis. People get really excited about that.
Just something, I actually haven't thought about that before, just something you couldn't do in Excel, otherwise maybe don't, I mean, they
Yes.
know some value taking Python, they understand maybe, I want to learn how to program, this
Yeah.
is cool too, data analysis, but it would be cool, it's like, this is something that isn't even really possible in Excel, like, here's kind of an idea of something you can do. Like,
Yeah.
The
I
3D
like
scatter
doing
plots that you can move around and add a cluster to it. Where
Yeah.
you can move the dimensions around. And
Yeah,
see it.
that's
why I
cool.
like that. But I think also the idea of the text, we could totally do that, like a simple named entity recognition. Let's pull
Mhm.
out the person, places, and things out of this
Yeah.
text into fills.
Yeah.
And sentiment, we couldn't get into without calling a sentiment model.
But see, I think it's okay to call a sentiment model. I think like if you don't even have to, it's kind of like just
you're
teasing
you're
them
true.
with the
We don't have to train one. We can
Yeah.
just use some existing.
yeah. And most people probably won't train their own anyway. So
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
yeah, or like I'm thinking, kind of do some pre-processing with. Are you familiar with the Luke dictionary?
I probably am, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
So
so-
I've played with so many different
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. So there's kind of simple pre-processing where it's like, okay, here's our
Just
corpus
your
here,
stop words
and
all
then
that.
and then it'll suck out these metrics and then use those metrics in some prediction, or at least some clustering or something where they're like, I mean the lights are going to go off, they're going to be like so excited, and then we're going to say, hey, there's more, come join us in IS.
This is eventually going to change what we do in 415 and 555.
I know we're pushing more and more lower and lower,
Earlier
right?
on, yeah.
All of a sudden a freshman class and we're covering some of the same exercises. It would be interesting to see kind of the capacity of the students.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be a lot of adjusting.
I like the idea. You guys could add it and just leave it blank, and I'll fill it all in. A chapter on text hash. Let's call it text hashing. I won't even introduce the word feature because if we're not getting labels, they won't.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say text hashing and image. Can't call it classification. Clustering, text hashing, and image and processing. Those 3 chapters.
Okay.
And again, we might not get through all of it in the fall, but
Yeah.
we can at least have them in there, and I can start thinking through building them out. Because I think a lot of that first part, the Python part, where we have like 2 days for a lot of those topics, we could add in 2 days worth on all those. I mean, my plan is to add enough content for that, but we might get through some of that faster than we think. And if we do, then maybe we can
It was
start
image
covering
what?
these things.
What was the name of that?
Image processing, let's call it.
Yeah, and I mean, all of this is just kind of like a little exemplar or something to whet the appetite. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be, these are the libraries you call, here's kind of what the result is, but even like, identifying anything about what's going on under the scenes, not going to happen.
No, yeah. And really, I think the alchemist will say, all right, what do you do next? Because we're pitching this course to the 110 students as, have you heard of data science? You like the idea? Want to
Yeah.
start at the very beginning? Here's where you start. But then the what to do next. I don't want to push them all to stats, but stats 121 would be one. But I want an IS. What IS course do we push them to next?
Yeah.
That's,
I think so right now it feels pretty heavy on the analytics, but it seemed like the content was equal with the programming. Certainly,